My name is Diane Savona, and I'm a textile artist. I make art with textiles. I sew, I dye, I put things together in unusual ways, and I try and use textiles to tell history. No, actually, I started as a sculptor, carving stone,
Oh,
carving wood, and then when I became a mother, I realized you can't carve wood and stone with a small child in the room, and found what women have found since millennia, that you can pick up a piece of sewing and you can work on this while you're taking care of a child.
mm,
And like, aha, so this is why so many women sew. Oh, I've always loved history,
mm.
but social history, this business of history, the kings, the presidents, the wars, it's like, okay, that just, oh, I can't deal with it. My grandmother was born in a thatched hut in Poland. All right. Um, I want to know what her story was. I want to know what the people that my ancestors, how was life for them? How was life for the people who came before them?
That's
So this
wonderful.
is where I started. This is my mother's old sewing basket that I reconfigured. And on the cover here, you have actual pieces of yo-yo quilting and crochet and what have you. But if you open it up, inside you have the impressions where the cloth has been pressed onto cloth, and then you have the impressions in clay.
Mm,
So it's sort of showing the history. Okay, and here we have one. It reads, "Ancient textiles decayed long ago. Only impressions in the clay remain." And I have here the pieces of crochet that I've dyed dark brown, and some of them I've put under the cloth to make
mm,
these fossils, and some of them I've created in clay because we know about ancient textiles mainly by the way it sometimes got pressed into the clay, and the textiles decayed, but you still have that impression. This is the piece, it's done on a handkerchief, and it was one of the first ones where I was trying to do pieces underneath the cloth. This is a variation of an Italian quilting technique called trapunto, where a cord is sewn between two layers of cloth so that it has a little outline. And I thought, if you can do that with cloth, why can't you do that with buttons?
mm.
And maybe with the end of the spool. So if you take a plastic spool and you cut off the end and you put it underneath, you can fossilize it.
Mm.
Anyhow, then I went into my tiles, and some of these are in the show. Each of these is 6 inches, and basically it has pieces of information technology that I've taken apart and embedded under cloth. So there actually is a cord under here. And there actually is the cover, hang on, of a calculator. You're too young to remember pocket calculators, but there we go. And this is actually the dial of an old dial-up phone. And so it's taking the technology that was once cutting edge and fossilizing it, saying this too will pass. And I made hundreds of these suckers, taking things like old typewriters and cassettes and all the connecting rods and the vacuum tubes
Mm.
and playing with them. And I actually got to go on an archaeological dig
That's
in
so
New
exciting.
Jersey. One of the colleges, Rowan College, put out a call for volunteers to sit there in the sun and scrape away at your little inch of dirt for hours and hours and hours.
Mm.
It was wonderful. So it's work that I feel I have to do. I'm very lucky that almost 20 years ago now, my husband said, "Honey, the business is doing well enough. Why don't you stop teaching and just do your art full time?"
Mm.
He said, "I've never seen anyone dance across the ceiling before." And so I've been able to just do my art, to do it from the minute I wake up in the morning. And with the exception of times that I get to play with my grandchild, um, I sew. And when I die, my son will probably put most of it in a dumpster. To which he says, "No, Mom, not all of it." And that's okay. I'm doing it, and whatever happens, that's all right.